you? Look at that. Snow's gone. Grass is even starting to come up. And got all of our donor vehicles and stuff out because we're dropping some pine trees there. But look at that, nice shop. And I'm still working on this thing and this little thing. So, yeah, about to put the Dana 60 in. Have the old one out. I'll probably sell this after more inspection. I don't know. It wasn't the edge that we thought was bad. Actually looked the same as the other side, so I don't know what was going on with this rear end, honestly. But it's all cut down for a body width. I'm sure somebody with less than 800 wheel horsepower will never have a problem out of it. So I posted it up for sale for a couple $100 because at least it's narrowed for a body width. It's got the flanges. It's a Dana 60. It's set up for the Riley Motorsports 4-link. Somebody might use it. If not, it'll go to the scrapyard. No big deal. Here's the Strange cover. The Strange 60. I have a new cover for it. That's why I said cover. I was thinking cover. My buddy who did the gearing told me to buy the covers that have like a set screw on the outside edge of the cover that pushes in and it holds in on the center of your bearing caps. So I ordered that as well. Got to put that on once we get it in. But hopefully this is the last project laying on my back, because I've got a lift in there that I'm going to finish setting up today as well. But I figured we would keep honing in on the 2025 drag week prep stuff. Got some new tires. The guy bought them in bulk, so he was selling a few, so I picked these up for quite a bit cheaper than new. But they are brandy new still. That means these still have the summer left on them. I'll probably use these all summer, and we'll see. Either burn them off before drag week or run these on drag week so I can burn them off and not care. That sounds like a better idea to me. But yeah, get the car out, then I'll give her a bath, start it up. It's been hibernating all winter. Oh, and I'd left the kill switch on, so that means the battery's probably dead. We'll see. Yep. Progress reports on the rest of the crew. So, my dad's car, we haven't touched it. So that's still sitting down in the garage. That's the next thing we got to start fooling with. We might even enter him in the all-motor big block class instead of the Street Machine Eliminator, because this year we definitely won't have time to do the turbo. Hopefully we'll at least have time to do the 4-link and everything else. But there's no restrictions in that class for rear suspension as long as it's a steel body and all the rest of that stuff. So we ended up finding a 454 big block. So that car either has a 454 or 427. And we're pretty sure it's a 454. It's got 427 valve covers and all that stuff, but that doesn't mean a thing. So, but it's a fresh engine. It runs really good. It was a shame to rip it apart and just put all of the go fast parts in that running engine, because we're doing new crank, rods, pistons, heads, everything. So we ended up finding another block, a 4-bolt main 454 block, had it bored 30 over, and we built a 496 stroker. So that's what's going to go in that. I still need to build him the 4L80E. We have all the parts from Jake's transmission, manual valve, or the you can put it in drive and it will still shift, or you can shift when you're racing. You can actually shift manually as well, and it has a trans brake. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, we have a lot to do on that car still. Pete has come a long way with his Ute that he had bought in Australia, had it shipped to the States, and he cut, I don't remember if I told you guys this or not, but he found a G8 donor, and he cut the entire firewall, front clip, everything out of it so that it would be a legal United States car, and then cut the whole Ute front end out, welded this whole thing. I mean, it was firewall into the floors. It was a ton of work. He did an incredibly good job. Put all that together, so now it's left-hand drive and everything, and he's running a big turbo LS face-plated T56 Magnum. So he's going to be with us this year. He's almost done with all of the actual hard parts. The only thing he's got left now is doing the fuel system and the wiring. So he's pretty close. My uncle is coming with us. He bought himself a 1965 Mustang, and originally he was just going to do a cam and upgrade some things, and it's an automatic, so he bought a TKX for it. He bought a new 9-inch for the rear end that'll bolt in. Then he ended up just buying a crate engine from Summit, so that's like a 400 horse engine. So he'll have fun in the D or C class. And then we've got a couple other guys that we met last year at Drag Week and then at Midwest Drags. So they might be joining us once we get down there. There's another guy, Gary, up in New York, who's going to be part of our crew. He's in I don't want to get it wrong. It's a 30s coupe. Super, super cool car. And that's what he does for a living, is he builds hot rods and restores cars, all of that type of stuff. So it's beautiful. Awesome paint job. The attention to detail on the work, the floors, all of that stuff. I mean, he sunk the floors because the top is chopped so he could fit in it, but it's such a small space. Like the tunnel, so it would fit the transmission and everything, is notched for his heel up on the transmission tunnel so he can get to the gas pedal because it's a stick. So that's a super cool car. He's working on getting that all figured out so he can come with us this year. And if my buddy Charlie in North Carolina can make it, that'll be the final piece of the crew. He's got a Fox body Mustang that he's building. He kept the 4-cylinder, and he built that all up to run a giant turbo on that. So we'll see if he can get that done in time to join us. But that'll be the crew this year. I'm pretty excited. We're going to have a blast. We have, So myself, my uncle, my dad, Pete, Gary. So 5 of us in the main crew. Plus, if the other 2 join us, I told them they may not want to be part of the headache. But of the 5 of us, only one, me, has ever been on one of these drag and drive. So we have a 100% chance of being broke down at some point. And now that I say that, it's probably going to be because of me. Everybody else will be fine. But either way, it's going to be fun. We got Gabe joining us again in the back seat. He might even ride in my dad's car. We're not sure who's going to ride with my dad. If he doesn't get anybody come, him or Biddy will switch out left and right, or take turns riding in his passenger seat and my passenger seat. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It starts in Maryland this year, so that's a little bit closer. My band is playing the Tunbridge World's Fair this year, that's super exciting. But we play until 9 o'clock, 7:30 to 9, and then we get to get in the vehicles and drive to Maryland because tech is the next day. So that'll be exhausting. Hopefully we can just get through tech, maybe make a test pass and go to bed. So and that never happens. You end up hanging out in the parking lot because you're excited to see everybody. But hopefully this summer I'll actually be able to go down and to Epping and make a few passes. Last year I didn't have any time to do that. The car was in pieces or whatnot. I was doing this and doing that. So I do have some other switches for the car because I'm going to move my 2-step switch to the pedal to get rid of my error of letting go of the button. And I'm going to add another switch so that I can do no lift shifting so I don't close the blow-off valve when I'm shifting. My goal at Epping is to try to touch the 9s. It'd be really, really awesome to touch 9 seconds. I know I can't do that for Street Machine Eliminator, but it would just be cool to work through that. Just for bragging rights. But, yeah, to be continued. Well, problem. Rear end's in. Diff cover does not clear the fuel tank. And my sway bar doesn't fit. So it looks like we're just putting a factory diff cover back on. It's always something. It's pretty close. I thought about maybe taking it down to work and machining that face off this flat lip here, but then it takes away from the rigidity where the bolt goes through to hold that cap. Not to mention where this nut needs to be to tighten everything. The jam nut that would just dig into the tank. So she's coming off, and just let's hope I don't ever break a cap. Well, she's back together. Axle is back under with the stock diff cover. Sway bar is back on. Just gave her a whole start. Couldn't believe it. It sat all winter, battery in and everything, fired right up. Good battery, it means we get no draws. That's nice. Can't say the same for my dad's car right now. You can't leave that for like a day. We got to figure that out. But so now that's done. Once we get some warmer weather in a week or 5, we'll take it for a test drive and see if it's quiet. Cam said to get a pretty good heat cycle on the bearings and everything in that rear end before I beat on it. So just gonna take it easy for a little while. I've got, like I said before, I've got all those switches. Got some switches to install and my coilover springs. We were running 180s or 190s before, and between Biddy and I, and then the drag trailer and everything, it was just too soft. So I called up Bill and told him what I was doing. Bill Riley from Riley's Motorsports, and he he told me to put some 300s on it. So I got the 300s. Gonna put those in. I'll do that on the lift though. I was sick of laying on my back with shit falling in my eyes. So yes, sir. We are back together and ready for the next upgrades and little things before the drag week starts. Well, quick, not necessarily car-related update. From here on out, hopefully, we'll be working in the new shop. We obviously still have some work to do, but the lift is in. We're about to start pulling the toolbox in so we can start measuring for shelves. Next step really is the bathroom. We got the furnace all set up last weekend. Got that up through the ceiling. Went and got this sweet chalkboard for $50. It's like a nice heavy-duty school chalkboard for all our projects lists instead of cardboard. Figured that would be a nice addition for $50, and my wife has already got a hold of the chalk. Thanks, Demi. Pretty exciting stuff. We got to put trim on the windows and the floor and everywhere still, but and get the doors on, get the bathroom done. But we're going to start moving stuff in and start putting everything together. Pretty exciting stuff. Tonight's step is I've got a friend's pickup truck that's got a lift gate on the back. So we're going to use that to move this toolbox move this engine down for my dad's Jeep that we're building, and then move that toolbox down and start organizing. And this place is like a bomb went off in here because I've been slowly pulling stuff out of my box truck over there into here when we needed it for projects. So everything is just an unorganized disaster. So it'll be nice to get that all straightened out. But nice little update. 2025 drag week prep continued. So we finally got the shop basically usable. Doors are ordered. All that's left is to put doors in and trim, and the shop's basically done on this side. But my uncle and my dad are taking next week off to start doing the mini tubs, because that's one of the biggest steps of the car. We're starting from the back, gonna work forward. So they need to start stripping the interior. We took a stab at the first rendition of the list. I mean, things always come up afterwards, but it's quite a list. I don't know if we'll get all of this stuff done, but they'll start on the mini tub, and then if they get the mini tub done, this kit from Detroit Engineering is pretty awesome. It has the whole inner fenders and everything. When I did my car, it was only little strips they gave you, kind of like that piece they give you for the frame. And I had to reuse all of my fender wells. It was a lot more work. This looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. They give you the templates and everything. So
Unbelievable templates.
Yeah, so that's gonna be, that should definitely help. You can't really see it in the video, but that'll
Props out to Church Brothers.
yeah, well, it's from Church Boys Racing,
Church Boys.
but it's they use a company called Detroit Speed and Engineering. If anybody's building a Nova, so yeah, first step is the rear mini tub. And then from there, they'll move on to the 4-link. To do the mini tub, they'll pull the rear axle, pull all the suspension out so it's out of the way. Do the mini tub, then once that's done, slap the 4-link up underneath there. And then the interior has to be completely out so that they can weld up for the mini tub. So they're gonna pull all the interior out and then they get started on the roll cage. Just an 8-point cage so that you can, you'll be able to run down to 10 seconds. So they'll pull all that out, and then if there's time, if they have a whole week, but if they're working, I mean, if they work full days, Monday's going to be a little bit of a wash. He has to work on his excavator some still. So, then they can start working on the transmission tunnel. So those are the big steps, all the sheet metal stuff, because then I still got to pull the 4L80 out of the donor van outside and rebuild it. But this 454 we have sold to a friend, but he doesn't need it till July. That's further down the list. So yeah, he built the 496 stroker, and that's what's going to go in it. And this year probably is going to be that naturally aspirated or maybe nitrous. I don't know. They have a naturally aspirated all motor big block class that this would be really fun to run in. So we just got to decide if we're going to get everything done in time to run the actual the 4L80 or if it's just going to be mini tubbed with the 4-link, and this year we'll just run the 4-speed still. We'll see. But he really wants to get the fuel injection and everything in, get the new motor in, so they'll just got to make sure we can get a good tune and everything in there beforehand. There's a lot of work to do. Hopefully he'll be able to. He's got an excavation job until August. Hopefully he'll be able to take from August, at least the beginning of August, take a few weeks off to work on it to kind of button more stuff up. But we will be keeping you updated every day of the week because they're going to be working basically every day. So when I come home from work, I will do update videos of what they've done and everything else. So we will keep you posted. Okay, day one as promised. They just dropped the rear axle out. They got my dad and Bill. There's Bill. There's my dad. They got all the interior out of the car already today, and they got the whole rear stripped and everything ready to cut the mini tubs out, or to cut the tubs out. They got the old brackets off for the spring, the hood springs, and then they called up Church Boys, and they said to do the 4-link first to help re-stiffen everything underneath the car. So they took a pause on that, and we just got the rear axle out, and we're jacking the car back up to start cutting everything apart to start putting the 4-link in. So for day one progress, it's actually coming along really, really fast. So hopefully tomorrow we can show you some shiny new things. Go ahead. Little light. Where is my Milwaukee light? All right.
I'll be like that.
That's all right. So this is, somebody once upon a time had already inboarded the leaf springs on this. This was the factory frame, and then this is the new inboard they did back in the early 2000s. They did a nice job with it. But because of that, they had to inboard the front of the leaf springs as well. So what they have to do, my dad and Bill are doing, we unplug that. For the 4-link kit, they have to cut all of that existing piece off, and then they replated this section of frame because there was some holes and they had to cut. They cut into the frame up there. You can see it.
Cut this away.
So that whole little section's cut away. and then they made a new piece out of some box tubing, and then this is the plate that comes with the 4-link kit, and this is the plate that Church Boys was saying that we should get welded in before they cut the wheel wells out, so it helps stiffen everything up. So some good progress. It's lunchtime on Tuesday, so they're only day 1.5 in. They're about to lower the car to finish pulling all of the sound deadening out so they can start welding up on the bottom. Wednesday. I think I missed last night, actually. I gave you an update at lunch, so we got a little bit extra, kinda. We did get this guy to the 4L80E mock-up transmission, which is pretty awesome, from Speedway. It went together beautifully. That should be very helpful cutting the floors out of this bad boy. It's 5 inches longer than the Muncie or whatever this is, the M20 or I don't know, old transmission stuff. But they got this all done. Got the inboard, this kit, like we said before. It took a little bit longer because they had to cut the old frame inboarding out from the leaf springs, but they've got the new 4-link kit in. So you got your upper mounts, or your lower mounts, I guess, your frame rail mounts. And then there's a cross tube. There's a frame piece that they give you, a big flat plate that you have to weld in. And then once that is done, there's a crossbar with your upper mounts. And then you have another bar that attaches to the same plate that is your coilover mounts. So that's nice that that's all done and plated and everything is all taken care of. Now the next steps is we have to see if they're gonna cut out the wheel wells tomorrow, and then they're gonna see how much they can notch the frame to fit a little bit wider tire in there. So once that's done, then we can figure out exactly what he's gonna do for tire and wheel, and we're gonna cut down that 9-inch and weld it back together, order some axle shafts, and get it in here. But I mean, that'll be huge if we can get the mini tub done, and while we're waiting on axle stuff, then they can, if there's still time, they can pull this transmission out and start doing the trans tunnel, because those are the big hitters. Once that's all done, the rest of it is just mechanical stuff. Still a lot of work, but that goes a lot quicker. This is the time-consuming, tedious crap that just takes forever. The trans tunnel really isn't nearly as bad as this, the 4-link and the mini tubs. The mini tubs usually take quite a while, but they had already got it almost. These are ready to cut out. Tomorrow morning, all they have to do is cut these inner fenders out. So hopefully they'll make pretty good headway tomorrow. And I will have an update for you tomorrow. So this is pretty cool. 2025 drag week prep. It's gonna be a cool car. If anything, it'll ride nice going down the road. Over and out. Quick update. I forgot last night. We were running all over the place. So, they got... This is a crap light. Oh, that's more better. All right, so my dad and Uncle Bill got the frame all cut down. It's narrowed to basically nothing per the kit. That's why they give you this pretty thick plate to go on the back. It's like almost 1/4 inch, 3/16 plate, something like that, to go on the back side of the frame that you weld in because you cut the front side out to narrow it for this mini tubs kit. So they are, this morning when they come back, they will be welding this tub in. And now that every time you do one side of a project like this, the second side usually goes faster. So it is Friday, the last day of the week for them. So I'm hoping that they can get both sides knocked out. This side finished welded, and then the other side started. So that'd be a huge chunk of this done. Then we'll order the wheels, get everything set underneath the car with the tires, and then figure out exactly how much we need to narrow the axle, and order some axle shafts, weld the brackets on the axle for the 4-link and everything. But it's coming along well for a week's worth of work. Those are huge steps. One step closer to drag week. Still have a lot to work to do. hopefully next after this we'll be pulling that transmission and cutting the trans tunnel apart to fit that mock-up trans in there. So if that's done, once the bodywork's done, we should be able to cruise right along with the mechanic stuff. I need to get the motor and transmission out of that van too, so I can start building the 4L80 for them. Yep, Friday morning update. Drag Week 2025. We are in the middle of pulling the motor and transmission out of the donor van so we can put it in this. I almost forgot about it. Try to make a handy dandy holder. Oh yeah, now you can see us suffer.
Did you just video?
Yeah.
GoPro?
Yeah. Alright, what are we stuck on?
The floor. So I said, can I go to the driver's side now?
Well, how's it on the motor now?
Is it?
Driver's side.
Ready?
Yeah. Hold on. Dad, when you're offside, there's something hung up on the top of the framing on the driver's side. Ed, can you reach down, see what's
Good?
Everything else? Good.
You gotta go up, and it's oil pins, there you go. I can only go in a couple areas and I'm gonna hit the
What was
quad.
that? So we're good?
Yeah. That fucking thing had to be replaced.
Alright, I'm tapped out, I'm up against the cross member with the jack.
Okay, that's fine. The board's still there to guide it, right?
Yeah, let me get out of here.
Okay, I'm just here for.
Yeah, just keep an eye on shit. You ain't keeping it.
No?
Freaking silly.
Hit it over there. Yeah, it's back.
Back up more.
Yeah.
We're lifting the whole thing, right, Ev? Don't let that yoke fall out. Don't let that yoke fall out. All right. 6 liter for the shelf, 4L80 for the car. Now the van's gonna go bye-bye. Little update. We just got the engine out. That's ready to go. We have a buyer for that. And the new engine is over here with the 496, as well as the parts and pieces for the rear end and the new accessory drive kit. Got a lot of, almost every part now. The wheels came. Those look very nice. So those came early, so now we got to, once the seats come, we can start doing the roll cage and just keep moving along. We got the list is getting crossed out. Still got lots to do, but we're making progress. Once that roll cage is knocked out, it's really just some mechanical stuff, but that little stuff just takes time every night. So progress is being made. All right, we got a couple things going on here tonight. Dad is pulling the rack and pinion off and making some adjustments on the front control arms for the new front tires and wheels. Are a little wider than the old ones, so we're gonna suck them in just a little bit. That bug just flew in my face. Over here in this corner, started pulling the transmission out. Take a look at all that sludge in there. That's a mess. So here we go. We will see what we find when we dig in. All right. Dad's car update. Drag week 2025. It is now almost August and the car is completely empty. But we have Connor here helping us with the roll cage, doing some TIG welding from Margerson Metalworks, or I can't believe it's not butter. I've got the transmission all torn apart. This is my project for today, Saturday, is to get this completely rebuilt while my dad and Connor get the roll cage done inside the car. We do have the new seats sitting in here so that we can get the cage all where it needs to be and tacked in, pull the seats back out, get all that welded together. Connor's here to break in my TIG welder. I did buy a TIG welder so that I can learn, but I'm not learning on his cage. Nope. And the engine is ready to go in. We got the accessory drive on the front. So that's too shiny, honestly. And we're just waiting for the MLS exhaust manifold gasket so we can get the headers on, and then we can slap that in there. So once hopefully this weekend I'll have the transmission completely done, wrapped up. And the rear end housing came today or yesterday, so that's exciting. So now we can start putting the 4-link together afterwards. What we ended up doing was we just slapped the old rear end under the car and then put 6x6s under the front of the leaf springs and just sat them on the frame rails and set the car back down. That way we could open the doors all the way up so you can get in and out to do the roll cage stuff. So once the cage is done, that's going to be a big step. Cage done, and if we can get the 4-link knocked out this week, then we should be able to move along pretty quick. I've got his shifter showed up today. We found a company that makes a shifter that fits underneath the factory center console. So if anybody is building a Nova who's watching this, Shiftworks is the company. Where's the box? Lost it. Yep. Oh, no, I know where it is. So they make a 4L80, 700R4, 4L60, Turbo 400, whatever it is you're building, they make it for you. Yeah, Shiftworks. Shiftworks is the company. They also make a tail shaft housing for the 4L80 that converts the tail shaft to a mechanical speedo drive. That way, somebody had put a new dash and stuff in that car, so we didn't buy. That saved us a ton of money not having to buy a Dakota Digital dash or anything, because those didn't have boost or anything like that anyways. So we'll just put something, maybe the Holley display on his console or on something like that. I haven't got that far. This year it's naturally aspirated anyways. So that was like $700 for the tail shaft housing with the gears and all the stuff you need to convert it all. And it's like $1,800 for a Dakota Digital dash. It really didn't gain us that much more since this already had other working components. So and we can take a reference of when the oil pressure's at wherever it is on the dash with the factory high-low. We can check the Holley display and say, okay, hey, when it's here, it's you got 40 pounds, but that is if he doesn't want it running. I'm sure once he sees the screen and sees how much data he can get from the screen, he's going to want to leave that thing hooked up. Ooh, just got some grease on me. But yeah, so we'll keep you posted today throughout the day. Maybe get some live action stuff too. I know people have asked for that, and I'm terrible about it because I need both of my hands to do this stuff. But maybe we can, I don't know if I'll put some video together of putting this together, or maybe them working on some stuff, or I'll just completely forget and you guys will get the after pictures. Either way, we'll keep you posted. Like I said I was going to, I completely forgot to record live action stuff. But cage is in the car, all 8 points of it. So that's a huge win. That was from this weekend. And got the transmission all rebuilt, except for just putting the valve body on for the trans brake and stuff. The whole new valve body's right there. I'll do that probably tomorrow night or something. There was a couple, the pump was real bad. this right here is supposed to be all smooth, and that's like a 1/16 to an 1/8 deep in spots. So you're not supposed to be able to see a groove at all. It's pretty bad. So I don't know if any of you guys had watched the video of building the band van. I had a transmission that had a broken bell housing. So we went up and got that and pulled the pump out of that, and that pump looked great. So that's good because I need this shift rod as well, because this nut, when I was taking it off the other one, it broke that off. So that's good. We'll have that to be able to slap that back together. And this is another 4L80 I got that has no reverse. But I was going to take that one apart, but then I remembered I had this spare, which is no good. So options. So now we're going to put this in here, since I have not done any other. Yeah, people wanted some live action, so we're gonna do a fast. I'll speed it all up with us putting the engine in here. Woo!
Just bought 3.
For what?
4. For,
He's out here lying. So, transmission is basically back together. Finally, after battles and battles of little crap. Just need to hook up the trans brake stuff, and we're trying to come up with a way to make it so it's kind of streetcar-ish still. You know, we might wire the trans brake up to his reverse light switch so he doesn't have to hit a button every time he puts it in reverse, like so if my mom drives it or whatnot. But it just might mean that when he hits the button for racing, it might turn the reverse lights on. So yeah, it'll be okay. We'll figure it out. Might scare some people. Maybe we can put a diode in there somewhere. We're just gonna draw it out on paper and make sure it would all work. So while I was working on that, Biddy, you guys remember Biddy, my co-pilot, they got the 4-link brackets all welded on the axle, so that's sitting pretty underneath here. So that's pretty awesome. Now Dad's gonna take it all back apart to undercoat where the factory undercoating would have been, and then paint the rest of it black and seam seal stuff and get all that buttoned up. Then we got to put next is get the fuel tank in, fuel lines, brake master cylinder, all the little sensor stuff on the engine. Get the transmission so that it's ready to get underneath here. Finish the rack and pinion. We got to get spacers to get that mounted up here, because the power ones, where the input comes out is a little bit fatter, so it needs to come out a little bit. So we need to do that. Just keep hooking stuff up, coolant lines. I put a list together on my phone. I'll have to go through it tomorrow. Well, he's not working on it tomorrow, but we'll once that's painted, then we can put the coilovers in the back, put the axle shafts all in, get all that together, put the third member in, put the sway bar on, and then this will be donezo. Then it can sit in its own weight. We've got a guy coming that's supposed to be coming to do the interior, the back seat rather. We have all new interior for it, but we're just waiting for an upholstery guy to come modify the back seat to fit with the roll cage and stuff and roll bar padding. We have the new rear seat covers over there and all the new door pads and all that stuff. Did you see, by the way, that the roll cage clears the factory door? No, the armrests, if you do want to put them in, like this. So yeah, big mess in here with all these boxes of all the new parts. Freaking, we got shifters, fuel lines, throttle bodies, fuel pumps, all sorts of stuff that needs to hydro boost brakes. That's not in here. Nitrous plate. I gotta make one more Summit order tonight. That's another $2,000 worth of frickin'. We got a tilt steering rack or steering column, his exhaust cutouts, all that little crap. It all adds up. So yeah, we're getting closer. T-minus 6 weeks. Yeah, it's going down to the wire. Yikes. All right. Rear scene, I'm all cleaned up for a gig. I came out to get the camera, so before I forgot, I just wanted to give a quick update. Saturday morning, we got the rack and pinion mounted, and car's back up on the lift. Oh, I think it was on the lift. Tomorrow, Dad's gonna get ready to paint everything, and then we're gonna hit part of this list pretty hard. We've got a lot of stuff crossed off, but we're gonna try to do most of this today. I mean tomorrow if we can. So we've got a lot to do, but now it's time to go play some music. More updates. Transmission is done. I just gotta put the oil pan on that we just finished cleaning up and painting black, and voila, can't see bleep. Magnets. So underneath the car is all painted and or bed lined depending on where it was at, or undercoated rather, to match the factory stuff. 4 links in. To order a gasket for that. It's supposed to come with a kit, but apparently we couldn't find it, or I'm not sure what happened. But under the car is done and she ready. So that's exciting. Big step right there. Gonna put the third member in, slide the axle shafts in, seals are in it already. The next big thing is to get the fuel tank painted and cleaned up. Then that can go in, and then we can run the fuel lines, get the new hydro boost in, run the brake lines, and mount the fuel pumps, all that stuff, and then we'll be moving right along. So progress is good. Hopefully this week, by the end of this week, we'll have a few of those things done, and this weekend we're getting ready. So this weekend we can keep on moving along, get the transmission up there, measure for a drive shaft, good things. Can't wait to see it sitting on its tires. That's gonna look sweet. The oil pan is on, or transmission pan. Filter came, it's together. Pretty sweet. Next third member is going in. That'll be tonight's project. Assemble the rear axle. Yes, sir. Look at there. Axle is under the car. Tires, wheels, brakes, coilovers. We have the transmission cross member in that we built. Transmission is bolted in. We're about to set it down to see what it looks like, see what we have for coilover adjustment. Things are looking good. First time setting it on the ground to see what it looks like. Yeah.
Big things.
Yeah, that back tire is a little low. Looks cool, but it's definitely a little low. That needs to go up. But the front sits really nice. The big block in there. That's a nice look. T-minus 4 weeks, the drag week. Got a lot to do still. We were on a family reunion last weekend, so we didn't really get to do anything. It is Tuesday, what's the date, Ev? Tuesday, August 13th. Oh, today's Wednesday, August 13th. So we're making some progress on the engine. We got a water neck spacer here so that we can get the coolant hose for the firewall back in for the heater core, because we had to use its port for the temperature sensor for the LS stuff. That's taken care of. We need to get some fittings now some clamps for this hose here, the bleeder. We have all those fittings in. It was just a while just figuring out where all the different nipples and things that everything needed. Throttle cable or throttle rod and everything is all mounted. Throttle body is on. After changing things 4 different times, we had a dual spark distributor, or dual sync rather. And so what we ended up doing was we ditched the top of the distributor, and we're going with LS coils. So that being said, the shop is a disaster right now with empty boxes and project stuff. So we're to the point now where it scares a lot of people. So I need to wire up. I bought the universal cables for the LS harness, or the coils, and I need to add those all to the main plug here for the harness. So that's what I'm about to start doing now, is start pinning that out. And we got the new fuel tank because we realized that the old one was cut way narrower for the old inboard spring kit, and we want all the extra fuel we can get. So we've got the new fuel tank, and we're just about to make some modifications so we can weld the sump on and keep moving forward. And the shop needs a serious deep cleaning. It is a mess, but we're thrashing, so cleaning is not part of it right now. Updates to come. Hard to see, but Dad's brazing the fitting on here for the return.
Because you don't know how to run your TIG yet.
Yeah, bought a TIG welder, just don't know how to use it yet. Tonight's update, fuel tank should hopefully be ready to be painted tomorrow. Got a few little things done there too. Look at the frickin' mess. Time is running out. All right. I took today off, Friday, August something. August 15th. So we have 29 days until drag week starts, but I have to travel for a week before it for work. So we've been working on my dad's car. I took today off to get a few things done, and I'm also going to measure for my push rods to see if I need to get longer push rods. So I figured I would try to take a video of that, since I am so bad at actually videoing when I'm doing stuff. Probably not really going to be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to pull the push rods out that I have, 7.45 push rods. And then I'm going to, man, these are pretty dry. And I'm going to put my push rod checking tool in there and take a measurement. I also might fire it up. I mean, there's definitely oil sitting on top. I know I'm getting oil pressure. It's just the noise is so annoying. And maybe it's because of the holes in the firewall I need to plug. You know, there's a few different things that can fall into that. But here we go. So for those of you who have never done this before, you want to get yourself a tool. This one here is adjustable. You can spin the end of it up. Adjustable push rod length tool. Just going to get it kind of close to where those ones are. Alright, well, I tried to make a video of me actually doing some work so that you guys would have some actual video of things happening instead of just updates. However, the battery died when I started. So, I just rechecked my push rod lengths because the first time around I didn't have any calipers that were long enough. So this time I bought some 8-inch calipers so I have the right tool for the job. And I took my push rod length checker tool, put a little bit of electrical tape around the threads because it spins so easily. What I did was I kept putting the push rod down inside, and I'd put the rocker arm, and for initially I would just push down and I'd feel the slot forward and backwards. Then I'd keep lifting it up just a little bit until that got pretty close, and then I would take just an extension with the socket on it, and I would finger tighten it until there was a little bit of play, just a tiny bit of slop, and then I would tighten it down with a ratchet until that slop was gone. Then I took, 10 different tries to slowly making adjustments, and then I took it out and I measured the push rod length with my calipers. I put them on my welding table that's flat, so that way I could slide it in there and make sure I had a pretty good measurement. And I measured 7.445. Plus, these want 35 thousandths of preload, so I need a 7.48 inch push rod. Currently, I have 7.45s because the first time I measured it, I did not do it the right way. I don't remember if I think I counted turns or I don't even remember what I did. Maybe tried to use tape measure. Either way, not the right way. Don't do it. So I think that I have like 0 to 5 thousandths preload, which I'm hopeful that's where my chatter, the clatter that I hear in my valve train is. Because once it's running, that little bit of 5 thou could be sucked up from the springs and everything else. Who knows? So I'm going to go ahead and order myself a set of longer push rods, and I'll put these on the shelf for a different project. But that is the newest update for my car. That makes me feel a lot better as to hopefully what the noise is. I know the oil pressure isn't incredibly good, but it's not terrible. A friend of mine, John, he's battling oil pressure in his car, and he sees like 10 once it's warm, which is shitty. It revs up to, he gets 50 up in the upper revs, but and he's changed main bearings, he's changed rod bearings, he's changed oil pumps. He took it all apart and he watched everything while he pumped oil into the front orifice there, like you're priming the engine to see if there was one spot that a lot more came out. He's done all sorts of crap, which really, I feel for him. That sucks. So yeah, I'm gonna order some push rods, put them in, and then the next thing today, I'm probably gonna put that second sensor in for my no lift shifting and see if I can make that work. But I don't know if I'm gonna have time to really fool with that before drag week this year or not. Depends on if we get to Epping, but at least the sensor and stuff will be in. Then all that will be left is doing the rear springs once my dad's car's off the lift, and I'll probably drag the drag week trailer down here and start working on that. So we got some stuff to do while I have the day off. We have a gig. I gotta leave here gotta go inside by 3, so I got a few hours. We'll see what gets done. Hi, Saturday. Seems like we've got a lot of nothing done. just prepping things, ran downtown, got a bunch of stuff to try to take care of some things. It's one of those mornings that's spent a lot of time doing a lot of little things. But we're trying to get everything on the top side of the car taken care of so that we can get back underneath it. So my dad got all of this undercoated, bed lined. Looks really awesome in there. Now he's getting ready to get him the last little bit of the fat mat up here so that he can POR 15 the inside before he puts the new fat mat back down. We had to modify our brackets here for the master cylinder. They're still drying. I had to flip them over and paint them. But so to take the entire thing and tip it up just a little bit, we might have to drill a new hole in the in our brake pedal. I know that'll change the throw and geometry and everything a little bit, but it'll still be fine. You don't have to push very far or hard with the Hydro Boost, but it was hitting the valve cover, so we needed a little bit of adjustment. And the old one that was in there had killer tilt to it. If I can find where that bracket went. So that's kind of what gave us the idea, actually, was, oh, look at this mess. The shop needs a serious cleaning. Well, anyhoozle, wherever that bracket went, it's got quite a bit of a rake on it. So we got the idea of that, and we cut it down. Here they are. So that was the angle of the old ones. So we kind of split the difference on the ones that came with the other one. They're a little bit shorter too, so it puts it closer to the firewall. Well, I wish I had long hair so I could spike it up and be like, because we have, how many days is it? Like 16 days? Something like that. 3 weeks less. And I'm gone for a week. So, we're making progress. The Holley system, the wires are all in on the engine bay. We need to do some prettying up still, but everything's laid out where it needs to be. I am working on putting a relay up front here to power the fans. I got to go out and get my soldering iron, and we're going to put all that together. I bought the non-boomer wire shielding for the other wires that we need to run, because there's a couple factory, like we got our gauge wire, and we're gonna have to run a couple. Our fan signal wire is gonna come out. We got our injector power wire. There's a few things like, coil power wire. We're gonna clean these wires up, the factory ones there. So we got some of that to do, but transmission lines are made. Transmission cooler is mounted. Catch can is mounted. Brake lines are all in and bled. It's hard to see down in there, but all of the spark plug wires are made and they're in. The fuel regulator and the gauge and the sensor are in. So we're waiting. We have all the things to make the steering shaft. Power steering lines are all made. That's all done. Hydro Boost is in. We had to make our own tilted bracket to make everything clear. Everything's been a battle, but we're waiting on the steering shaft because we ordered some long tube headers because our engine builder was pissed when he found out we were still going to run these little shorties. He's like, I spent all this time porting and polishing the engine and doing all this stuff. You guys better be running long tube headers if you're trying to get into the 10s naturally aspirated. So we found a set of long tube headers that fit from TCI, I think was the company. So those are ordered. They'll be here Tuesday. It is Wednesday. So hopefully by this weekend, the goal is to hear this thing run. We'll see. And it'll be, Dad's right now, we're in here working on getting the console mocked up so we can get the shifter in. We got a shifter that's supposed to be a bolt-in shifter that works with the 4L80. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, like everything else, it's kind of a battle because the floor is a 4-speed hump and just not everything is working nicely. So that's nice. Yep, and the Holley wires are run into the floor here, so I need to still wire all of that up to the back. I got a nice relay block here with some fuses, so that's going to be mounted in the back, right up against the rear firewall, or the back of the trunk wall, and that's going to be the relays that power the 2 fuel pumps and the transmission cooler. So that's next, but I figured I would let him sit in there and work on that while I am out here taking care of this stuff. and we still got to get the transmission wiring in. But we're making progress, and I still have some things to do to my car as well, but I still have all next week and part of this weekend. We'll see where we get to. The transmission dipstick is in. That all fit well. That was very lucky. It's just all that little stuff is finally running down. Once we... Oh. Nice. The list has really been crossed off. So drive shaft loop, we gotta do that still. Center console, exhaust cutouts, interior, shifter, exhaust, steering shaft, tune it, wiring, fill rear end. Motor mount bolts, those are in, but we haven't tightened them yet. So radiator hose spring, the lower radiator hose isn't in because we need a spring for the corner. So yeah, figured I'd give a quick update, and I'll make a video here. If you're seeing this, it's probably the weekend before. I'm traveling for work the week before drag week, so I'll probably make the video and post it then. It's gonna be a long one because I mean, you've already seen it all because this is the end of the video now, but thanks for tuning in, and it's going to be quite the adventure. Fingers crossed that we make it. Hopefully this thing runs. It all depends. We might get it all together, all this work, and put the transmission in drive, and it might not even move. So then who knows what will happen. You guys will find out when we find out. Okay, Sunday. How many weekends before drag week? 2? We have next weekend, then we leave the weekend after. So, it is the 30th of August, 31st, I don't know. Either way, we're about to turn it over to see if it actually fires. We've got some transmission fluid in there, power steering fluid. The fuel pumps just kicked on when we turned the key on. I loaded a bass tune. The throttle cable stuck when we just pushed it, the throttle rod. So we're just lifting the car up real quick to see what's happening there. But we're about to fire it, so you're gonna see if it fires or it doesn't fire. Got all the coils hooked up. I verified the coil colors to make sure that we have the right numbers in for there. Hopefully it fires. We just set the distributor as well. You had to set the pickups basically, or phase the distributor. Let you know what we find, and then we'll film it when we start it.
Oh, see, he didn't want to put too much in. There was too much in it.
Fill it to the top.
Yeah, the assembly room is awful sneaky.
Blowing out of the top, it just made a mess.
Maybe we should open the garage door behind.
Try again?
Tighten it tight.
No, it's not that. There's a bleeder on the top.
Ready?
Yep. Oh my god.
Big blocks are so cool. Now I wish I had mine back.
Wow, that rev like a small block.
That
I
thing
mean,
sounds mean.
when you get mufflers on, it won't rev quite as quick.
Yeah.
Are you doing 3-inch exhaust?
Yeah. No, we're gonna do 8.5.
Moment of truth if everything fits. The brakes is what we're wondering about. I think we're okay though. Oh yeah. That is a win. It needs to move this way. You're basically. The list is slowly getting bigger and crossed off though. That's our wiring for the trans brake solenoid stuff and the bump. Man, everything's been a fight. The steering shaft is in. We had to add a damn heim to the side of the frame so that we could add a third joint so that we could actually fit a damn steering shaft because of the headers. Finally got that all taken care of. Everything's P-clamped up out of the way. Everything looks good. Nothing touches anymore. Throttle's not sticking because of stuff touching. Fantastic. So finally one of the last steps to get this thing ready to go get tuned is exhaust. No problem, right? Yeah, exhaust. We're reusing the old mufflers because they were 3-inch that somebody welded 2.5 to. So we're like, oh, perfect. We can reuse the mufflers. We cut 3 pieces off. No problem with the portaband. You know, 3 ends. The last end would not come off. It's exhaust, right? What the? 2 portabands smoked. Finally, just took a a grinding disc. It started as like a 8-inch, by the way. I would like to find whoever built this car and slap him right in the face. What is this? What is the? Look at how thick that is. What is this? What am I looking at? This is what they had stuffed into the end of that muffler. Stuffed in here. Plus that one piece there. And this was all welded together. Hot! So that you could use 2.5-inch exhaust. That's like 3/16 thick, maybe quarter. That's crazy thick. You know what? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how thick that is. Holy smokes, my shop is a disaster. All right, proof. We have proof. 5/10. 160 thousandths. That's thicker than my roll cage. That is thicker than my roll cage. Oh, that one still has a piece in it. What are these people thinking, man? God. Well, that's an update. We are at the end of our wits. We've been working on this thing every night and weekend since May, basically. We have done a lot of work, stripped the car down to a bare frame, bare chassis, and have done everything in 3 months. But I will tell you, it looks pretty awesome under here. The work has paid off. But yeah, we still have the exhaust. And then all we're doing for exhaust is we have the cutouts right here. And let me tell you what, these long tube headers, we thought it was loud in the video that you saw you just saw with the shorty headers on it. We put these long tube headers on and it hurt me. I can show you, it hurt me. It hurt me here. It was so loud. Didn't think it could get louder. But these 2-inch primaries or 2 1/4, whatever they are, with 3.5-inch collectors, massive big block things, loud. So we're just gonna run some straight 3-inch pipe with those 3-inch mufflers and some turn downs. And that's gonna be it for drag week this year. Hopefully it doesn't drone too bad in his car with it just being dumping under the cab, under the trunk. I haven't even touched my car yet. It is September 4th. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. 9 days left. Haven't touched my car. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those days I'm gone. 7 of them. Perfect. So tomorrow he's gonna go get this thing tuned at a friend Cam's in New York, and I set up a bass tune. We'd probably be okay with me tuning it, but he's gonna go. Cam's gonna dial it in way better than I'd be able to. I know just enough to get myself in trouble. And I'm going to put my car on the lift and start doing some of my things so that we are hopefully successful, both of us. But we haven't run this thing long enough to really check much because it's so freaking loud you can't even think about it. So once it starts, hopefully tonight after this, I can set up the inputs for the trans brake so that we can actually check reverse and stuff like that. But I have a transistor I'm wiring in line so that I think am I already said this? I don't remember. But I got a transistor to put in line so that we can use the reverse light signal as his reverse so he doesn't have to hit the button every time he wants to back up on the street. That's kind of clever. But when you're using the trans brake, the transistor will stop it from turning the reverse lights on. Yeah. Okay, over and out. Alright. We got the cutouts in. Exhaust on. Right now there's just a couple turn downs that blow out towards the tires. Just used crap we had laying around. I mean, it's just straight pieces. These we did buy. Cutouts. So tomorrow, gotta get up early and pull this e-brake cable. Vermont just made it legal for automatics to not need e-brake cables anymore, so that's pretty cool. So that's coming out. We get a couple little leaks, and we noticed that the steering shaft we made is binding because the shaft, we made everything to length and then realized that this actually had to sit quite a bit higher for the screw to lock into the groove that's in the shaft. So we need to pull this back apart tomorrow and trim these two shafts because it's binding pretty good when you try to steer it. That, and then tomorrow I need to just wire up the cutouts and the reverse light setup for his trans brake. Whew. But it's close. And then put this motor mount nut on. And then he's leaving. Go get tuned. You gotta hit the button. You gotta hold the button. Oh. 2-foot drive, I'd probably say. Wow, it's moving. okay?
Like I got another bottle.
The fuck is that?
Gotta be the fender.
Well, stay on the brakes, please, so that we can make it into the driveway. I'm over here, so I don't know what your brakes are like. Are they better than they used to be? I mean, before with the old car. Okay, Friday night. T-minus 1 week. Basically, 7 days before drag week. Holy crap. We fixed a bunch of bugs with this. We tried to take it for the first drive, and brakes were not very good. Steering was really much worse. Oh, you took the pump out. And did you loosen the radiator or the alternator to get it out? To get the belt off?
I just loosened it, yeah.
Oh.
So that stayed there.
So, and it wouldn't shift. Yeah. Not sure what happened. We brought it back, fooled with some stuff. I did go into the Holly and reconfigured. I didn't even have that loaded that it was the 4L80, but I don't know. It was the max, so I honestly don't know if it automatically comes with transmission stuff set up or not. And that could have been part of the problem. So we did that. I reflashed the computer, and now everything works. Starts in first. Like you can manually shift first through drive, or if you put it in drive, it actually will shift on the lift. We haven't driven it yet because we had all sorts of problems when we had to narrow. Why do I look cross-eyed in this now? That's weird. Am I going cross-eyed, or is it just the way it looks like in this picture? When we shortened the control arms to move the tires in to fit, it shifted them this way, so they were rubbing. You can actually see this mark on here. Oh. So we had to take everything back off to readjust it, and to do that, now with the headers lovely in the way, you couldn't get this bolt out, so we had to pull the headers back off, pull the bolts out, pull the whole front apart, readjust everything underneath here, reset toe and stuff. There was actually exhaust manifold leaks or header leaks because we found that the headers are round port and the block is square. So when he pulled these off, you can actually see where the round wasn't touching the gasket in the corners. So we put some round port gaskets on the square port heads. Those actually line up pretty nicely. So that fixed our leaks, so we have no more exhaust leaks anymore. I sent a picture to a friend of mine, Cam, who actually was going to do the tuning today that we didn't make it to, and he said you got your lines reversed on your pump. And I said, I'd never used one of these pumps before, just the GMLS pumps and stuff. So I assumed that this was my fault. I had just assumed that the higher port would go to the port that's up top. I just assumed that it would go to the reservoir because it was up top. But I was wrong-o. And so we killed the pump, so that's awesome. Because we drove it around for, 5 minutes, and we probably have let it run for another 10 minutes or so with it all backwards, so it didn't have any fluid in it. And then when we did reverse it, there was definitely shavings in the reservoir, and it worked for like 2 seconds, and then just started whining, and nothing worked anymore. So we've got a new pump coming for tomorrow. We're going to switch that out, and we're going to get rid of their silly pulley and put a factory pulley on, I think. That's our plan, a press-on pulley. And what? Oh yeah, we had to redo some of the steering shaft was a little bit long, so it was binding in a spot where it came at a steeper angle, so the shaft was coming in and hitting the far side, so it was binding a little bit. We fixed that. It was a good first test run it was very disheartening actually. The very first test run, we thought this car is not going to drag week. And now we feel a lot better about it again. So the water pump, the brand new water pump is leaking on the back. I don't know why they even have that gasket on the back of the water pump. And that is leaking. So Dad tightened up all the bolts. it has RTV on both sides of the gasket. I don't know what's going on there, so I don't know if it's worth just replacing the water pump tomorrow or if he'll just pull the back off and just put a new gasket on it. But that's something it's just weeping. It's not a big deal. It's not like it's pouring out of there, but it'll make a mess and it could lead to more problems later down the road. So we'll fix that while it's here. It makes the belt squeal when you first start it because the coolant's running onto the belt. So there's that. We got to hook the cutouts up, and electronically they're all in here, but we need to wire them tomorrow, and then he'll put it on the console, and then he can put his carpet and stuff in, and this thing's basically ready to go. I mean, our to-do list, we just measured the 4-link stuff, so we need to set the pinion angle tomorrow. Got that adjusted. I adjusted mine as well. My pinion angle on my car was a little bit off. I've had a vibration, but now who knows? Every time I do something like that, it always is way worse. So now it's probably going to be way worse when things are actually like the right way. So the to-do list that's left is interior in, cam tune, which we may not need to. Now that we have the right map sensor set up in there, now that I have the learning turned on, we have the O2 sensor in, so it's actually reading that, making adjustments. I had found a bent pin in the coolant temperature sensor, so that wasn't reading and making changes, so that was making it run wicked rich. So that fixed it. It actually runs pretty darn good right now. It's naturally aspirated, so it might not need it. The IAC was running at 90%, so it sounded like a frick shop vac. Just we got that fixed, so it's running at 15%, and it idles awesome. So it's running pretty good. We got to drive it again tomorrow and see what happens. So yeah, we'll double check fluids, change the power steering pump, wire up the cutouts. I'm gonna put a spring on the return for the throttle linkage. Adjust 4-link, which is now just finishing your pinion angle. Seat harnesses, need to put those in. We have them, and that's all about it. Get some miles on it, drive it around. Oh, mount the Holly screen. We got a little like suction cup screen for it, so it'll be just extra display stuff that he can actually look at real numbers instead of just the old H. Yep, radiator fans come on, all that works. Everything works out nice. I brought my car in, like I said earlier, so we've got both cars in here. It's about time now. I need to take the poor stickers, the winning stickers off from last year. I want to try to save them to put like on a little shrine thing that has the jacket and stuff from the winning, because it was pretty cool. So it'd just be neat to share them. I did get a hold of another set of the routes for every day. So my wife was talking about making like a little glass case that has the jacket and all the days of the directions for the event, and then my stickers in there. You know, kind of silly, but it's kind of cool. This needs some cleaning. It's running good though. I think it's ready. I'm still probably going to change some plug wires that are melty. I just have electrical tape on them now. I need to fix the center console just because it drops down so the cup holders fall out, because it's just fiberglass, and as it gets hot it like slides down the trans hump, so I need to do something there to lift that up. I haven't figured that out yet. Take it for a drive, see if it vibrates worse. And yeah, that's about it here. Fix the AC. My toggle switch died for the AC. Just piddly stuff. It'll probably take all day because everything's a pain in the butt. And then I did have a whole bunch of stuff I want to do to my trailer too. Maybe next Saturday I can do that. A little drag week trailer. We'll see. Or Friday. I fly out Sunday to Wisconsin until Friday. Get back Friday. Saturday we play the gig, and then head to drag week. So it's going fast. See you guys down there hopefully. Okay, we have a new finding. Originally I had talked about putting a diode, which I said transistor before. My bad. I don't know what, my brain was not working. We had a lot of shit going on. So we were gonna originally put a diode. We were gonna take. I had the trans brake inputs, trans brake and bump. Those were originally wired up to have positive ins. After watching some videos yesterday of setting up things in the Terminator, it only activates from the negative in. Therefore, that doesn't work. So I had to change some wiring under the car, and now it is grounds that activate these inputs. So what I'm going to do, we don't need the diode, and I guess I could have done this before, and we wouldn't needed a diode. But so now we're going to have. He's got a solid state relay for the trans brake. When he's using the trans brake itself, you hit the button and it activates everything. Everything's happy. Also, when he puts it in reverse, it is going to activate this relay, and then it'll put a ground back to the Holly. So we're using the reverse switch to activate his trans brake so that it actually goes into reverse without him having to hit the button. And when it works the other way, when he's in drive with using the trans brake, it will feed back to an open circuit relay, so it won't hurt a thing. So this actually is kind of neat. Maybe it'll help somebody else who doesn't want to have to hit a button every time they put their car in reverse to back up. So gonna do that today, and then continue working on my car. It's raining outside, so we can't really do much for test rides, but Dad's going down to get a few things, and once I wire up that little bit inside of the car, he can put pull the seats back out, put the carpet in, the rear door panels. He's gonna move it over here, and I'm gonna move. So his car's up on the lift. My car is on the floor. We're going to set my car on the lift and put his car over here on the floor. And that's what we'll do he can work on all that stuff. And I'm going to change my coilover springs and take care of a couple other little things. So, and we got our drive shaft angle dialed last night, and I just realized that my ride height is really high because of my old springs. So, of course, once I change my coilover springs and reset the ride height, I'm going to have to change my geometry again. Whoops. I guess we'll see how much it changes from that, the inch being different. But he's got to get a return spring. There isn't much left. Once the power steering pump comes in, put that in. Hopefully the system will work after that. And yeah, we will see. Keep you posted. This is Saturday, 7 days from when we head down to the wire. Oh, another little update. So Gary's car is ready. He's been already to the track a few times. His trailer's ready. He's all set. And that 33 Ford two-door, cool car. Charlie with the Fox body, the Turbo Fox, he is getting it tuned today in Charlotte, North Carolina. He lives in Reedsville area. My uncle is out, unfortunately. I don't remember if I said this or not already. Stuff with work came up, so he couldn't get away, which is a bummer. And Pete is getting close to starting his car. His car hasn't started yet. I'm honestly surprised that we beat him to that. But we, luckily, Dad having yesterday off, or Thursday off, and yesterday we got a lot taken care of. So, yeah. Mount the Holly screen, return spring. Yeah, it's little stuff. Knock it out and take it for another drive and make sure everything works. Good morning. Morning of chaos. Sunday morning, T-minus 6 days. My car is basically ready. I need to change the oil. I got the coil springs in, the new coil springs last night, coilover springs. I'm just working on changing some stuff with the center console, but I need another hand for that. I might have to wait till I get back. My dad's car is coming along. The power steering pump we got is a little different. We had to make some modifications last night, so now we're working on trying to find a better pulley setup than it had since we have it apart. Then he can take for a test drive. We got to call Summit tomorrow. One cutout doesn't open at all, and then this one doesn't close all the way. So we even bought the nice guillotine style. You can never win. At least it's on there now, so we can. These don't work again. You can try a different style because the 3-bolt flange is already there, and then worst case we just use the plate, and he just unbolts the plate every day. Yeah, so also a friend of mine from Midwest Drags, he couldn't come last year to Hot Rod Drag Week because he was serving for the military. He's on duty, so this year he's off, and we bent him some door bars. So I'm heading to work before I leave to ship these off for him, putting them in my little Super Civic, and yeah, shout out to you, Ralph. He's got a really cool LS swapped BMW that has a license plate that says it's a GMW. I always thought that was the coolest thing ever. But so yeah, I'm making progress, and I'm about to leave for 6 days. So we will we'll see what happens. How Dad will be keeping me updated. He's hopefully gonna go for a drive today and see if everything works. But yeah, I won't have a video then. I'll be putting this video together while you're watching it. This is the end of it because I'm putting this together while I'm out in Wisconsin for work. Then once I get back, the next part of whatever there is will probably be looped into day 0 of our drag week, the first drag week day. Woo! This is gonna be a long video though, so thank you for sticking around, and hopefully you enjoy it. That's what happens when you try to do a year car project in 3 months.